Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be blitzing through a lot of this information. Whether you're an inexperienced lifter, if you're new to the gym, or a seasoned athlete, I feel like this information is going to be very beneficial for you. And whether the whole video is beneficial for you or you're just getting a few golden nuggets here and there, there's going to be something in this video for you. So if you really want to increase your total, especially if you're a power lifter, or maybe you're not getting the results you want in the gym, then I really encourage you guys to stick around because I'm sure there's something in here that's going to help you progress and get to your goals a little bit quicker. Now, if you read my secret handbook or you're currently a client, you've probably heard me go over a lot of these things, but we're going to go over them again. So right now we're going to go over the 3 pillars. And what are the 3 pillars? I have the first one as nutrition, the second one as training, and the third one as recovery. I have these set up in order of most important to least important, but they're all very important. Anything in your program, anything in your training, your workouts, no matter what you do, this is what you're going to build off of. If any of these pillars are weak or missing, you're going to have a horrible foundation and you're going to wind up struggling the further you go into your training and your program. So why is nutrition the most important pillar? If nutrition is lacking, if you're not getting what you need, you're going to struggle not only in your recovery, but also in your performance. So nutrition, what you eat, is going to help fuel you not only for your workouts, but it's going to help fuel your recovery. Your nutrition also needs to what? Support your goals. Right? And to do this, we need to understand what we're trying to attain. What are we going for? Are we trying to gain weight? Are we trying to lose weight? Or are we trying to maintain our weight, right? So we basically have 3 groups we can fall in. Now, if we're trying to gain weight, our calorie intake, our calories coming in, must be greater than our calories going out. And now most of you guys know this, but if you don't, I'm gonna go over it briefly right after I write this down. Now, if we're trying to lose weight, our calories coming in must be less than our calories going out, which means we must burn more than what we're consuming, right, to be able to lose weight. Now, if we're trying to maintain, our calories coming in must be equal to our calories going out. Now, if you're very new, you may be wondering, what the fuck does this mean? This means that we need to find out what we're consuming first before any of this shit matters. So what I really encourage my clients and what I encourage you to do, if you don't know how to figure out your caloric intake, I recommend you download a macro tracker, a calorie tracker. I don't care what you download, or at the very least, you're gonna pen and paper this shit. You're gonna write down everything you eat for 3 days, okay? So write down everything you eat and drink. If it's not water, you're writing it down. You're going to write it down out beside that food item, right? So let's say this is my list. Let's say this is an item of food or a beverage. We're going to do a little dash. We're going to have our calories, and we're going to have our protein, and then we're going to have our carbs. You can worry about fats later. This is going to be our 2 important macros we're going to really worry about, okay? So write down the calorie content of the food, the protein of that food, and the carbohydrate of that food, right? So you'll do this for every food item for those 3 days. So if this was one day, you would do this over and over and over. Then you would do it another day and another day. And after you got those 3 days, I want you to calculate. I want you to add up all those calories from day 1, all those calories from day 2, all those calories from day 3, add them up to a grand total. So this will be our total calorie intake for 3 days. Right? And why do I say 3 days? Why are we not just doing it 1? Because 99% of the time when I tell people just to do it for 1 day, they're going to lie to themselves and lie to me. I'm going to send them out there in the world. They're going to come back with like fucking 500 to 1,000 calories of what they ate, maybe 1,500. And they're going to be like, this is what I mean. I don't know why I'm not seeing results. Okay. Bullshit for one, but this is going to help cut through that a little bit by doing it 3 days, because usually the average person will go maybe 2 days restricting themselves, but by that 3rd one, they're going to write the real fucking diet down. And so this helps us get a better, closer average to their caloric intake that they're averaging every day. And outside of that, I do realize that when you record or track your calories, you're going to wind up eating less. There's really medical papers out there that show when people start tracking and start watching what they eat, whether they even know what calories or macros even are, they're going to wind up losing weight. So you're going to get results whether you're trying to or not. So whatever this number is for the total calories for those 3 days, you're going to divide it by 3. And then this is going to be your caloric intake daily, right? Now, with this information, where are you on this, okay? So if you've been getting on the scale, weighing yourself over and over, you know, maybe periodically once a week at least, and the scale's maintaining about the same, you know, it's been 3 months and you're still fluctuating between, let's say 180 and 184, you're close to a maintenance caloric intake. Now I say on the flip side of that, we were 180 a few months ago, now we're 200 pounds. This means that you've been eating more over the past few months, right? So with that being said, it looks like for the past few months, if you were 180 and now you're 200, you've been in a caloric surplus, been eating more calories than what you were a few months ago. So this is like a bulk or caloric surplus. And then this is gonna be like a caloric maintenance. And now I write fast and it may look a little bit like chicken scratch. I'm gonna step out of the frame before we wipe down anything so you guys can see the board if you can't see it really good right now, but I'm verbally telling you everything that's getting put on this board right now. So with that being said, we're gonna move on. So now let's say you were 180 a few months ago and now you're 170. This means you were in a cut, or also known as caloric deficit, and you have lost weight. You were eating less than what you were a few months ago. Now, if this is a little bit more defined, we can start talking about what we need to do to better support your goals. If you're trying to put your body in a state that's gonna promote muscle growth, you're gonna promote a little bit of weight gain, you know, a little bulk stage, then we're gonna go for a caloric surplus, which would be this gain weight here, right? That's gonna be our calories coming in, has to be greater than calories coming out. So let's say, for example, you were in a maintenance stage, okay? Let's say your caloric intake was 2,500 calories for a maintenance. What I recommend is a 250 calorie surplus. So then we're gonna go to 2,750 calories to promote a slow weight gain. We don't wanna go 500. A lot of these online calculators will put you at 500, which should be a pound a week. I'm telling you guys right now, that pound is not gonna be a fucking pound of muscle. Okay, you're gonna be putting on maybe a quarter pound of muscle, and 75% of that shit's gonna be fat. So with that being said, I recommend whether you're doing a bulk or a cut, when you're changing your calories, I recommend starting out a little bit smaller, doing 250 calorie surplus or deficit, being on the conservative side, okay? Because even in a caloric deficit, you're gonna have negative effects, which we'll get into right now. So let's say, for example, you want to lose a little weight. Let's say that you are 180, now 200. You realize you've been eating more than what you should. We need a drop in weight. Okay, let's say our calories is 3,500 at this stage, right? So what I recommend is you to drop down to 3,250, which should be manageable. That's like losing a snack, maybe a soda, especially if you're drinking sodas and you're drinking empty calories. Do not drink your calories unless you're trying to bulk. And the reason I say that is because it's way easier to drink your calories than it is to eat them. So if we're trying to lose weight, we do not need to be drinking our calories. We do not need to be having those empty calories coming in. But if we're bulking and we're really struggling to pick up the fork and eat frequent meals and eat a lot, then yes, blending that shit together, having those high calorie smoothies, having those high calorie protein shakes, I'll throw up 2 videos up here in the top right corner. You guys click on that, check that out. But getting back into this, we're now at 3,250, 250 caloric deficit. Like I just said, it's gonna be very easy to maintain this. And then when we start plateauing, which you will, you'll basically lose a little bit of weight. You'll hit a new weight, which is going to be your new maintenance at 3,250, and you're either going to have to increase the amount of exercise you're doing to burn those calories, or we're going to have to restrict our calories even further. Maybe bring that down now to 3,000 and maintain there until we get to a new maintenance, okay? And the reason why we're not going too fast with the caloric deficit, the negative that I mentioned earlier, is you're going to drop off more muscle if you're having an aggressive cut. And if you're having a very long and prolonged period of cutting or being in a caloric deficit. And the way to mitigate this is by having, especially if you're a 200 pound or less individual, you need to be having 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay? And this is going to help mitigate some of that muscle loss. Now, if we're trying to maintain, let's say that we are 180 to 184, we want to maintain here, this is great. So let's say our caloric intake here is 2,050 and 200, okay? We want to maintain. So what are we going to do? We're going to do absolutely fucking nothing. We're going to keep eating 2,200 calories, maybe clean that calories up. Maybe those calories are coming in from very high carb foods, you know, especially right before bedtime. Maybe swap those out for high protein foods right before bed. And also just look at your macros. If you're having a shit ton of fat, which if you want to look into that, you can, and you're having way less protein, way less carbs, maybe start eating a little bit differently, okay? Start getting those carbs up, start getting the protein up, let those fats decrease a little bit. Outside of that though, our carbs need to be coming in right before we work out, okay? If we're gonna have a lot of carbs need to be coming in the morning time, around noon, especially if we're working out in the evening. And if we're working out in the morning, then it's gonna be really hard unless you're waking up really early, get those carbs in, let your body digest and refill your glycogen in your muscles, where you're gonna have a really solid pump and have a lot of energy for that workout. But it can be done if you wake up early enough. Now, if you just roll out of bed, go right to your workout, and you're not getting a lot of water and a lot of carbs down and letting your body digest that and process that, you're probably working out a little bit dehydrated and a little bit low on glycogen and low on carbs, right? But more than likely, you're working out in the evening time, so you need to have a lot of your carbs in your day coming in at breakfast, and lunch. And then this is where we're gonna wind up having a pre-workout meal, which I have videos on some pre-workout snacks and pre-workout meals. I'll put a couple up here on the top right corner if you guys are interested in checking that out. But that's just gonna be a very easy digestible carbohydrate, and it's gonna be a plentiful one, okay? We're gonna get at least 30 to 60 grams of carbs before we work out. Now, with this being said, we've went over some pre-workout snacks, some carbs, the importance of it. What about protein? Protein is the building block to repairing muscle damage and building muscle, right? So we need it. It's crucial. It's not a, well, I can get away with not having my protein shake, or we'll just have chicken tomorrow, you know. I didn't feel like cooking tonight. Now, if you don't want to add 20 or 50 pounds to your total, you keep doing that shit, all right? Now, this is for cutting. I recommend 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, if you're in a maintenance or a bulk, it's not as crucial to help mitigate that muscle loss because it's not going to be occurring in a maintenance or a bulk. However, we do need it for recovery and just to help promote muscle synthesis and make sure we're getting the most bang out of our buck when it comes to our training stimulus we're putting our body through, okay? So the sweet spot I recommend is 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I just put main here to bulk, and then I'll put cut. All right, now I know this board's very full right now, but this is just nutrition aspect, okay? So when I say your nutrition is very important, you cannot outwork a bad diet. I don't care who you are or what you say or what you want to say that you can do. Oh, he don't know the fuck he's talking about. I have 3 milkshakes every night. That's fucking fine. Maybe you're a genetic outlier. Maybe your metabolism is so fucking high, it don't matter. But you replace those milkshakes or sweet treats that you're able to get away with because your high metabolism with something a little bit better as far as macronutrient wise. I wonder how much better you perform in the gym and how much better you look right now. Something to think about. If you guys are confused or don't know which one applies to you, DM me. My Instagram DMs are always open. Comment, I'll help you out. Maybe someone else in the comment section can help you out as well. But bottom line is, if you're looking to gain strength, which most of you are, if we're looking to gain a little bit of weight, maybe you're a little underweight, we're gonna wind up doing a little caloric surplus, a bulk, which is gonna be right here. We're gonna gain weight, our calories coming in has to be greater than our calories going out, right? Now, if we're overweight, trying to lose a little weight, or trying to get ready for a comp or a weight class, we're gonna be losing weight right here. So calories coming in has to be less than calories coming out. If you wanna maintain, if you think that you're in a good weight, if you feel like your body fat percentage just might be a little too high, you can maintain and you can allow your body to recomp. That is a real thing. But that just means you're gonna have to keep training and training and training and eating about the same. And just like I said earlier in that other example, just make sure what you're eating is very good when it comes to its macros, okay? Don't be, oh, well, this fits in the diet so I can have it, okay? You guys have all seen that fucking ad on YouTube with a dude like, oh, I can have a pizza every day because it fits in my fucking calories, right? Not gonna be like that. I'm gonna step out of the way, let's wipe this down. Go ahead, pause the video, whatever you need to do. This is nutrition pillar. All right, good, hope you guys got that. Let's get it on. All right, next pillar is training. It's gonna be training and programming. So this goes back into your goals. Are we trying to look like a Greek god? Are we trying to build for aesthetics, you know, bodybuilding? Or are we going for strength, powerlifting, and maybe there's a few of you, CrossFit and endurance. I can't believe I just wrote that fucking word down here on this board in my gym, but we did. All right. So, with that being said, let's go over a little bit of training on this, all right? So if we're going for aesthetics, going for bodybuilding, we're going to be training for what? Hypertrophy. Okay? Going to be going for size. Now, what's this rep range? Anybody know off the top of their head? Probably so. Let's get some answers in the comments. So we're going to go for 6 to 12, and I really encourage you guys to go no more than 15. I mean, if you guys are breaching on that 15 rep, you just feel like you want to get a few more, go for it, right? If it's like a burnout set, but that's the only time I'd really recommend going over that for hypertrophy, okay? If you're getting more than this, get that more comfortable, you need to increase the weight. Now for powerlifting, for strength, I recommend 6 to 8 rep range. And now for me, we do use a little bit of endurance training, especially in our last sets, like our burnout sets and stuff, where we're going for the 8 to 15 or higher rep range, and that's like the last set we're doing on that exercise, okay? So we do implement a little bit here, but then when we come down here to endurance, like I just said, at least 8 to 15 plus, okay? This is when you're gonna be really getting into more cardio and just endurance training overall. These all hit different types of muscle fibers. We're not getting in depth on that today. We've already got in depth pretty good enough, and we still got one more thing to cover. And I know some of you guys are putting this shit in times 2 because you have no fucking attention span, which is okay. Just write this shit down. You see something you need, write it down, okay? Make a mental note of it. All right, outside of that, we have aesthetics, bodybuilding, hypertrophy, rep range 6 to 12, no more than 15. When you're doing bodybuilding or training for hypertrophy, we really want to work on slowing the movement down. And what I mean by that, so we go for a bicep curl. We're going up, we're going down. We're really focusing on that squeeze. Now, for powerlifting, we also want to implement some of these as well, but we also want to go for speed as well, okay? Because you think about it, you're trying to generate a lot of force, right? So you want to have a lot of power, and to have power, you got to have a little bit of speed, okay? So, speed with some slow. Endurance, I really recommend you go speed. That's my personal opinion. You're trying to fatigue yourself quicker. It's more of a cardio workout. So we're going to be going a lot of speed, okay? Not really worrying about as slow when it comes to CrossFit endurance training. That's why the rep range is also so high, because you're getting damn near, if not to failure. All right, with this being said though, the reason we want to have slow as well, and I really encourage you guys, if you just stick to a CrossFit endurance, at least implement a little bit of slow in training, you know, maybe do a little bit of bodybuilding and stuff, you know, work on your hypertrophy. You know, if you really want an overall round physique, you'll put it down. All right. With that being said though, the slow will help increase muscle, mind, connection. Now, some of you guys may have never heard this term before, muscle-mind connection. It is beyond imperative and very important that you look into it and you wind up fucking feeling the workout while you're doing it. You should feel the exercise, you should feel the rep and build that muscle-mind connection, okay? If you think back, I remember when I didn't work out, I couldn't even flex my core. I couldn't flex my bicep, I couldn't flex my quad. I now have that muscle-mind connection where I can just flex. You know, I can just stand here and just flex my quad. I can pop my chest. I have that muscle-mind connection now because of the training I've done, and also slowing it down and feeling that rep. And that's also one thing, if you guys know, I've always preached about chains on bench. Chains really helped improve my muscle-mind connection on bench so rapidly that it was almost unbelievable, okay? So you guys really want to do some resistance training with some heavier weight, but you also want to do it some slow reps, okay? You want to really feel that movement, build up that muscle-mind connection. That's going to help you get some more PRs. Now, with PRs being mentioned, another thing I really recommend is for PRs, you need to visualize. Oh, gee, no shit, Jackson. But what do I mean by that? Every PR I've had, and every PR I almost had, there's one fucking determining factor. That's my visualization. If I had any self-doubt, if I felt like I was gonna tear something or I was gonna injure myself, guess what I didn't do? I didn't get the weight. Now, if I saw myself, let's say on deadlift, for example, standing up with that weight and locking that shit out, or it being fast and it being light, even if it wasn't light, it wasn't fast, I got that shit up. So you wanna visualize success before it happens. Screenshot this, you need it. Let's get it white. Hope you guys got it. Let's go. All right, so now we're gonna get into our programming. What do I mean by programming? Programming, as far as your split. What are y'all doing? What's your split days, right? This will also touch on recovery just briefly. And by recovery, I mean we're gonna have day 6, day 7 as our rest days. And these rest days, you can do a little bit of light cardio. It'll be a little active recovery. But I would not do no more than 30 minutes, and I try to keep it around 15. And it just needs to be constant, steady, and slow. So like I think walk, you know, like go out for a little walk, okay? Walk for 15 minutes. Just get some blood flow and get the nutrients traveling through your body. That's just gonna be a form of active recovery on those rest days. Now, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. What the fuck are they gonna be, okay? A lot of people are like, start the day off right, start the week off right. Monday, gonna be chest day, right? No, we're gonna have deadlift day first. Deadlift and back. Second day, that's gonna be our chest day. Third day, gonna be arm and accessory day. Day 4, gonna be our leg day. Day 5 is gonna be our chest day again. Now, what's the difference between these two? I'm glad you asked. It's gonna be our heavy chest day. It's gonna be our light chest day. All right, so this is my split. You guys always ask this shit multiple fucking times, even though it's in multiple different fucking videos. Here it is again. Split, let me get the fuck out of the way. Y'all screenshot that shit, all right? All right, now let's get back into it. Why is it set up like this? The deadlift and back day is gonna be first because you see a lot of the time the most common injury, especially with powerlifting, and that's a powerlifting split, might I add. Let me make that very fucking clear. But I think it could be very beneficial whether you're a bodybuilder or whatever you wind up doing, okay? Whatever you specialize in, I think this is a great split no matter what. Now, our deadlift and back day is gonna be first day because we don't wanna have weak biceps. We don't wanna have a weak pec insertions. We don't wanna have anything that's gonna be our back. Nothing's gonna be weak because your deadlift is gonna be your heaviest lift. You look at your squat, bench, deadlift, what's the heaviest normally? If you're normal, that's gonna be your deadlift's gonna be the heaviest, right? Following your squat and then your bench, okay? With bench being the lightest lift. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have one of the heaviest days first. Get that out of the way, deadlift and back when you're fresh off these 2 days of rest. That way you're not risking bicep tears, nothing like that, okay? So second day, gonna be our chest day, gonna be heavy. Now the second day, yes, you're gonna be a little sore because you hit back, but you'll build a tolerance for it, okay? The reason my back is so defined is because we're hitting back here, back here, back here, and then back here a little bit. So chest day here is gonna be heavy. That's where we're going up. I really encourage you guys to train, especially if you're a powerlifter. Now, if you're a bodybuilder, I won't recommend this, you know, endurance, whatever. If you want to, you can. This is really just gonna help prime you for PRs. But reverse pyramid. And what does this mean? That means we're gonna warm up until we get to something that's like 90% of our 1 rep max. Then we're going to work down with more reps, okay? So we're warming up to whatever the 1 rep max of the day is. I call it 1 rep max a day because it's not a true 1 rep max of all time, right? We're not going for 100 or over 100%. But what I like to do is I like to break this out. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is the 4 weeks that I kind of cycle this on, cycle it off. I am using reverse pyramid when it comes to our chest day, when it comes to our leg day, when it comes to our deadlift day, and when we come to our chest light day here as well. But I don't want to be doing 90% every week because if so, I'm going to run into a lot of injuries. I'm not going to recover, especially as a natural lifter. It's just not possible. So what I like doing on week 1 is we're going up to 60 to 70%. Then on the next week, the second week, we're going up to at least 70%. Third week, 80%. And the fourth week's gonna be our 90%, okay? Now this first week, it kind of varies a little bit. You know, if you wanna push up to 70, you can, but at 60%, that's fine, okay? But we're at least trying to go up to 90 plus on this 4th week, and then we kind of reset. It gives our body a little bit of a break and helps increase our longevity in the sport and working out. The next day after our chest heavy day is going to be our arm and accessory day. So we should have already hit our arms just a little bit on chest day just from doing bench and stuff. So we're going to be maybe a little sore off that. Our back should definitely be sore. We're also hitting back on this day as well, okay? We're doing our lat pull downs. We're doing our rows. We're doing our pull-ups. We're doing our chainsaws. We're doing a lot of different shit, okay? But we're hitting our back on this day as well. The 4th day, the leg day, this is going to give our upper body a little bit of a break because now we're focusing on legs. We've basically hit back here, back here, back here. Now we give that a little bit of break by hitting legs. Day 5 comes around, chest day again, but the difference is it's light. So let's say, for example, I'll work up on my heavy day to at least 365 to 385 bare minimum, okay? That's what we're usually getting to, okay? Maybe a little over that. Now, our light day, we're at least doing 315 to 335 for reps, okay? And I'm never getting over that 335 on my light day. I try, and yeah, you're like, what the fuck, that's light, but trust me, it's this percentage of it. You wanna figure out the certain percent. My max bench is 420 pounds. You wanna figure out the percent, pull out your calculator. All right, so with this being said, this is the perfect split. I go over this in a different video, a little more in depth, but we're not spending a lot of time on this. The last thing I got for training and programming is gonna be external motivation. So what do I mean by external motivation? This means that the people you surround yourself with in life are going to wind up either motivating you or unmotivating you, okay? So your wife, your girlfriend, your coworkers, you know, if you're saying like, oh, I'm going to the gym, they're like, why the hell are you going to the gym? Why don't you do this? Why don't you come out to the bar with us? They're either going to push you in the right direction or they're going to pull you from it, okay? So you need to recognize that. And if that's what's going on, maybe cut those ties or just don't speak to them or bring that shit up again, okay? And you're going to have the mental fortitude to be able to listen to that shit or hear someone say that dumbass shit and do what the fuck you want to do and pursue your goals. The other side of this is that external motivation can help push you in the right direction instead of pull you from it. You can have that coworker that wants to go to the gym with you. You can have that gym partner from college, from high school, wherever, that's going to be there and showing up. Now, they might not show up all the time, and that's fine, but you're going to have to show up on those days where they don't. If you want to increase your strength and increase your total and increase your muscle mass, by God, when they're not there, you better be, okay? So this can help you, but it can also hurt you, so you need to recognize good motivation from bad motivation and who's kind of giving it to you and kind of limit yourself, in my opinion, from those people and maybe find different people to put yourself around that's going to help push you in the right direction, okay? So it's going to be a great way to get those extra few reps, push yourself very hard by having those right people in your life and removing the wrong ones. Now this hits on nutrition and recovery a little bit, but first thing before we get right into recovery, let's go over supplements. So I got a video I'm gonna put up here in the right corner where I go over some supplements and stuff. One of the first videos I ever made. So we did PowerPoints, now we're doing fucking whiteboards and shit, okay? So if you like PowerPoints, you'll love that one. So what I recommend you focus on right now, 2 things. I'm gonna keep it very simple. Protein and creatine. Holy shit, who would have guessed that? I recommend when you get your protein powder, you're doing your research on the protein brand. You do not want to be getting a brand that's going to be spiked with amino acids. It's not bioavailable because you're going to literally piss your money out in your urine, okay? Those amino acids that aren't getting broken down or used up by your body will literally get floated out in your urine. The second thing I recommend through protein powder is recognize it's a supplement. It's not where your whole protein and your whole day is coming from. You're not having Fairlife shakes all day to meet your protein goals. You need to be eating real food, okay? This needs to be coming in with real food as well and not just fucking protein powder, okay? So it's a supplement, use it accordingly. Now creatine, this is found in red meats. This is going to wind up being taken in by your muscles. The creatine itself is going to draw on water. So if you're taking creatine, you need to increase your water intake to make sure you're not getting any muscle cramps. But it's basically going to provide a little more room to allow your muscle sensitivities to occur a little more frequently, maybe put on a little more muscle a little bit quicker, and grow a little bit faster, okay? It also helps with your performance. There's also new studies coming out right now. It's also good for cognitive function and brain function. So I really encourage you guys to take at least 5 grams of creatine daily. And if you're just starting, you need to load with about 10 to 15 grams for at least 3 days, then transfer over that 5 grams. Some people like taking 10 grams daily. I'm taking 5 grams. Yes, there's also people being like, well, you might have increased kidney stones from that. I haven't had a kidney stone yet. I'll let you guys know when I do. And if it's proven to be just from creatine, I'll also let you guys know. Or if it's proven to be just from your protein powder, I'll let you guys know. But I'm sure that your energy drinks you're having every morning at the gas station you're stopping to get in, it's going to give you the pleasure of attaining that before me. Now, maybe wrong, but we'll see. So this helps in our recovery. This helps in our growth. That's the two I want you to focus on in that supplement video. I'll go over a few other ones, but we're not going to worry about that today. All right. Last pillar. Last pillar is recovery. If you've made it this far, obviously you're here to fucking grow and learn something. All right. So for recovery, what do we got? We got sleep and we got active. It's going to be a very brief section. Just going to skim over it real quick. So what do we recommend? We recommend at least bare minimum of 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every night. You're going to have to work on your sleep hygiene. You're going to have to stop laying in bed, scrolling and trying to buy back time you don't have and getting that fucking 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night, okay? If you want to grow and you want those results, we're going to have to prioritize sleep and at least get 7.5 to 8 hours. And the reason I say that is because I also went over this with the medical papers and stuff in a previous video, but you're leaving about 25% of what you could be, or what you could have on the table. So that means you're putting in the work to have that, but you're falling short here in your recovery stage for your sleep and you're letting it go. Now moving on to active, you got your massage gun, percussion therapy. You also have cross friction. Light cardio, stretching, ice baths to finish off the active session for our recovery. All right, so starting off, massage guns. Very good. All the evidence supports that we're not going to limit or hinder ourselves or weaken ourselves by using massage guns. If you got like a really tight pec, a tight muscle, using that before you bench, using that before you deadlift. You know, if you got like a little tight spot, sure, use a massage gun, it's great. Also going to help increase blood flow to the area, which may promote faster recovery. Now, going into cross friction, it's going to be for people that have those bad injuries, you know, torn hamstrings or something like that, where you have a lot of scar tissue built up. You're going to have to hire this done or have one of those good gym bros or family member basically do an X pattern on you and break up that scar tissue so you get more mobility back and reduce that pain and get the function back in that muscle. All right, now outside of that, we got light cardio. This is what I went over in the split. You know, you're having 2 days, 15 minutes of kind of constant cardio where you're walking or something. So I really encourage you guys to utilize light cardio on your rest days just to increase your blood flow and get the nutrients moving around your body. The last thing, this is something huge. I need to write this out big, okay? This is so big, I had to make it its own fucking thing. Look at that, night stretching. I'm gonna throw a video up in the corner right now, going over the stretches I do before bed. I encourage you guys to watch these and start utilizing some of these or implement some of your own that you may feel work better for you. This is going to help you recover so much faster and also decrease the chance of injury you have in the gym. Now, we're not going to be stretching, especially static stretching, before a workout because that's going to decrease our strength and decrease our performance. Also could increase your chance for injury. But what we're going to do is at bedtime, right before we get into bed, before we lay down for those 8 hours, we're going to be stiff and not moving around a lot. We're going to stretch. And what we're going to do is we're going to do those static stretches. And hopefully your training session was at least 2 hours or more before. You don't want to be doing this right after your workout. And this is why I say it needs to be right before bed. For your muscles to start recovering, they first have to get back to normal length. And when you think about it, when you're repping and you're almost a failure, you remember how full and how tight your muscles feel and how contracted they are and how just dense they feel. And then remember how your muscles feel when you've been off for a while. They're just kind of relaxed, they feel normal, right? You don't really have a pump. The reason why you lose that pump and your muscles don't stay contracted all the time is because that's part of the recovery stage. You lose that pump because you have to go into recovery, which means the inflammation has to die down. You have those inflammation markers, which are great to tell the body, hey, we need to build this back. But the reason is your muscles start relaxing after your workout and you lose that pump because it's the first part in the first stage of recovery. Your muscles have to go back to normal length before they're going to recover. Yes, they still may be a little inflamed, but those inflammation markers are what tells the body, hey, repair this, we need help now. So it's part of the recovery process, but this will help speed it up tremendously. I can't recommend this enough. Start implementing stretching before bed. Not to mention, who doesn't like increased mobility and less injuries, okay? So start implementing this. The next thing, we have ice baths. Now, the evidence on ice baths are kind of wishy-washy. I'll just leave it at that, okay? Personally, I think they're great. I at least have an ice bath once every 1 to 2 months, okay? I'm not saying I have them every week. I'm not saying I do them constantly. I'm not the person that's gonna be like, hey, get a fucking cold shower in the morning when you wake up. No, I'm telling you guys right now, if you've been training and training and training for a very long time, you're more than likely going to need an ice bath. But if you've ever done an ice bath, you kind of know what I'm talking about. You're pretty numb after an ice bath, obviously. You feel better. You feel kind of euphoric because you did something that was hard mentally. You got in, you embraced it, you got out. There is a little bit of overcompensation with your vasodilation right after, because as your body warms up, your blood vessels that were previously very constricted are now staying a little bit more dilated because it's trying to recover and warm the body back up. Now, is that a very significant benefit? I don't know. I'll leave it up to the evidence in the medical papers that's going to come out in the next 10, 20 years, okay? But I felt ice baths worth mentioning because I feel like they work for me. Now, they may not work for you, but I definitely recommend, if you've never had one before, to try it out after a few months of working out and you're just really sore, full body sore. This is going to help you out. All right, that's all I got for you. I've been down here for over an hour, so I'm going to clip this up, make it as short as possible for you guys to digest. You guys see I'm sweating. There's no AC down here. You guys know how it is, and I'm about to get a great chest workout. So you know what? I'll probably show you guys what we get up to today. But outside of that, I hope you guys have a good morning, a good night when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.